Rockets do what they do. Question is, can they do it more effectively to tie up the Western Conference Finals? Hey everybody, welcome in. It's game time here for a Wednesday night, getting you set for the Western Conference Finals Game 2. Matt Weiner, that's David Griffin. Sam Mitchell right over there. Good to have you along with us. Guys, do you expect Mike D'Antoni to make any significant strategic changes tonight?
Obviously not. I mean, if you've been watching us all year, it's what we do.
Yeah.
No, I really don't think they'll do anything major from a strategy standpoint. I think the one thing they're going to fall back on, and Coach, you can relate to this, you got to feel like Trevor Ariza is not going to pick up his fifth foul early. So I think they're going to stick very much to the game plan. It's not Mike's tendency to change things radically quickly. So I think you're going to see them be true to who they are, exactly as he said. He said it a little more forcefully than I would have wanted him to have said it, I suppose. But I think it's really a positive thing for them that they have been as successful as they've been for as long as they've been. They have a lot of trust and faith in one another.
Yeah, look, you have to trust your system. It's brought them this far, thus far. They had the best record in all the NBA. They had a better record than Golden State, which everyone thought was a huge deal. So to get to this point now, and all because of one game, you're going to change who you are. And first of all, they couldn't do it anyway. Even if Mike D'Antoni stood at the podium and said, look, we're going to do all these different things, you can't do it because this is the team you put together. Right. The players are not going to change who they are in one day. And so the coaching staff, now, the thing that he can do, and Griff, we talked about this in the back, tweak some things. Maybe not try to switch as much when Kevin Durant's in the pick and roll so they can't get those advantages, that he can just shoot over guys. Maybe do some things like that. Maybe run a little bit more offense when James Harden is out of the lineup. Maybe a little bit more motion with Chris Paul to try to get other guys involved. But as far as changing their identity, no.
We'll get into all that a little more deeply throughout the next 60 minutes or so. Right now, let's get to Houston. Sekou Smith is covering the Western Conference Finals for us and jumps in from H-Town. Mike D'Antoni is nothing if not committed to his style of play. Do the Rockets believe they need to change or simply to do what they do better tonight?
No, I think, Matt, they feel like doing what they do better is the best medicine after that Game 1 loss. And really, it's the same attitude they had in the first round against Minnesota. Same attitude they took into that Utah series when they dropped a home game here and lost home court advantage. And it worked for them against those two teams. I don't know that that medicine is strong enough against a team like the Warriors. This is the one team you would face in the playoffs, and I don't care who you are. Even if you're the best team all regular season long, this is the one team that can take you away from the things you do best and adjust on the fly better than you can. Their personnel allows them to dictate to the Rockets in ways other teams would not. And I don't know if that's the wisest idea, for Mike D'Antoni to declare, hey, we're not going to change at all. The Warriors have to be looking at it and going, well, great, we're not going to change either, and we dare you to beat us at our own game in Game 2.
Against this team, that particular medicine may have some nasty side effects. On the defensive end, D'Antoni talked about how good Kevin Durant was, but then said the Rockets can, quote, withstand his mid-range attacks. What is their strategy for slowing down KD?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to have Trevor Ariza on him more often than not. The smaller defenders, P.J. Tucker, God bless him, he's not going to be able to disrupt Kevin Durant's shot, no matter how physical he tries to get with him. The switches end up putting different guys on Durant all game long, but if you can find a way to keep Trevor Ariza locked in with Durant, I think that's your best strategy. I know that in Game 1, the idea was to have Ariza guarding Steph Curry, and Durant wanted to take the challenge of matching up with James Harden. But I think Trevor Ariza has to be your choice to bother Kevin Durant because he's got the length, the experience, and he's such a good individual perimeter defender that maybe he keeps KD away from that mid-range game where he exploits all of those mismatches.
Maybe, and maybe we'll find that out tonight in Game 2. Sekou, good to talk to you as always. Enjoy Game 2 tonight in Houston.
Thanks, Matt.
Meanwhile, guys, the champs continue to thrive in third quarters. They won Game 1's third by 7 points. For the postseason, a plus 6.3 per game in the third quarter. In other words, 69 points to the good in the third quarter so far. And for the entire season, they've outscored opponents in the third quarter by 440 points. As a coach, what does that say to you, Sam?
That tells you when you're playing the Golden State Warriors and you go in halftime, the first thing and the last thing you better talk about is that third quarter at the beginning, because they try to put you away. They want to go on one of those 12-2, 12-4 runs to distance themselves. And once you start having to speed up your game and shoot more threes and play out of your comfort zone against Golden State, now you look up, you're down 20. They just bury you. And so that's a mentality that they have. And the Houston Rockets come out that third quarter, they're going to have the same mentality, but on the defensive end, and also think about trying to slow that game down a little bit, because I understand they're built to shoot a lot of threes, but their team is totally different. Griff, we was talking about in the back. They're totally different than Golden State. They think because they both have great shooters and they both going to shoot a lot of threes, but Golden State don't shoot near as many threes as Houston does.
Right.
Well, and I think a big part of that is because Golden State has so many guys throughout their roster that can dribble, pass, and shoot. They're very comfortable at the mid-range because of the way they're going to get into the mid-range. KD's not the only one on that team that can put it on the deck and get to a shot. And so it makes the shot a much easier shot for them. When you have a team that's built the way Houston is built, those ancillary pieces, similar to in some way the way Cleveland is built, those ancillary pieces need to feed off the ball-dominant creators.
Right, Harden,
and
LeBron.
They're much more limited to catch-and-shoot type plays. So I think one of the things that's going to be really significant for them is Chris Paul's going to have to, when James sits down, not try to be James Harden. He's going to have to be the guy that facilitates for everybody else. And it's okay if he's not the one scoring. He's got to keep everybody engaged in the game because, you know, everybody's far more willing to play defense when they feel the touch of the ball once in a while.
Funny how that works,
It's crazy that way.
People are engaged when they're involved and feel important. Yeah.